Good afternoon, everyone. Please, we are just waiting for more participants to join before we start the program. Please let us have your name and where you're joining us from in the chat box before we get started. For those that cannot hear, please know that we are streaming live on YouTube and paste the link on the in the chat box where you can join us on our YouTube page. Good afternoon. Once again to our dear participants, more participants to join in via the please do know that we are streaming live on YouTube, and our YouTube handle will be pasted on the chat box right now. Thank you. Okay. Good afternoon again, dear participants. I can see that we have DG now online. Good afternoon, the Honorable Commissioner of Education in person of Ms. Olashade Adefisayo, the DG Quality Assurance, Mrs. Abiola Seriki Ayeni, distinguished panelists and participants. I'd like to call on the DG now to introduce us to this webinar, and to also share the distinguished panelists that we have online. Dijima.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is a sensitization towards the Queen's Commonwealth essay competition hosted by the Royal Commonwealth Society. Lagos State Government is sponsoring. Okay, can you hear me? I just saw a message where someone said they could not hear. Can you hear me, please?
No, we can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So this essay competition is targeted towards children under the age of 18. So children in school, children out of school, children that may be in university, as long as you are under the age of 18 as at June 30th. We have the deadline that is fast approaching, and we deemed it fit to have a sensitization meeting today to ensure that the organizers are able to directly speak to us about the competition, what it entails, and every piece of information we may be interested in, so that we can ensure that Lagos State is well represented. I believe we have the Honorable Commissioner of Education here. You're welcome, the General Counsel to Mr. Governor. You're welcome, Ms. Sophie Spencer, Mr. Remy Abdul, the HOD for Research and Statistics within Quality Assurance. So without much further ado, I know we were supposed to begin at 1. If the General Counsel would like to give a few remarks as we move on to the formal presentation. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bukola Odure. I work as the General Counsel to the Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. And this is just to say that Lagos State Government will be sponsoring the Queen's Essay Writing Competition for the next 2 years, 2022 to 2023. Like the DG has just said, it's open to everyone, well, all the children under the age of 18 as at the 30th of June, 2022. And we hope that we will have enough entries coming from Lagos State and that we will put our best foot forward. So good luck to everyone, and good luck to all the teachers that would be helping the students put in their best entries forward. Thank you. Over to you, DG.
Okay, so Ms. Sophie, are you here on the line? You can get started with your presentation, please. We have various education stakeholders here present from public schools and private schools within the state.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ms. Ayeni, and thank you to the OEQA Lagos State for organizing this. I'm really amazed actually at the number of participants that we have today. So that's really great. And I think if every one participant could, encourage one child to participate in the competition this year, that would be an amazing goal. So let's see if that can happen. So I'm just going to share a brief presentation with you about the Queen's Commonwealth Essay Competition. I'm not sure how much information everyone has already, whether anyone has, encouraged children to apply in earlier years, or if they've had anyone apply this year already. But as you said, Lagos State is the sponsor this year, so it would be really great if we could see, a lot of numbers from Lagos State. So let me just get started. Okay, so I hope everyone can see that. As I just said, this is a presentation about the Queen's Commonwealth Essay Competition, primarily for educators who are looking to have the children in their classes enter this competition. So first of all, I just want to give you some background on the Queen's Commonwealth Essay Competition. We often refer to it as the QCEC. So if you see that anywhere, that's what I'm referring to. The QCEC is the world's oldest international writing competition for schools. It has been going for 139 years now, and since 1883. So for me, that's just fantastic. This is almost 140 years old. This competition has been going on through World War I, through World War II. And we actually have an archive of essays that young people have shared with the competition, which dates back 100 years. So if anyone is interested, I can, at the end of this, share the link to the archive. And you can also, have a look at some of the winning essays from the last 100 years there. So it's been run by the Royal Commonwealth Society the whole time. It's one of the largest creative writing programs for under 18s, and all Commonwealth citizens aged 18 and under are eligible to apply. So I just want to correct Ms. Ayeni. So it's if all 18-year-olds and under are able to apply. So if you turn 19 before the 30th of June this year, unfortunately, you cannot apply. But if you turn 19 on the 31st of June this year, you could apply to the competition. Yes, and so the main goal, the main mission of the competition is to give a platform to young people to have their views shared on a global platform. And this is an international competition. The applicants, the entrants are from all over the Commonwealth, and judges are also from all over the Commonwealth. So it's a really nice exchange of ideas that goes on. So just a little bit about the Royal Commonwealth Society. We are an international network of individuals and organizations with the shared mission of improving the lives of Commonwealth citizens across the world. The Royal Commonwealth Society is also a very old institution dating back to 1868. And we try to work on this mission by championing youth empowerment, education, and advocacy. And the Queen's Commonwealth Essay Competition is really our flagship program, as it's our longest running program. So we are very motivated to see it do well. And we are very happy each year to see the numbers expanding for this competition. And just a little bit about the Commonwealth. I'm sure you're all aware, but the Commonwealth is made up of 54 nations around the world who are voluntary members. And the populations of all these nations added up comes to 2.5 billion people. So it's a huge proportion of the world's population. And one of the every Commonwealth country has English as an official language, one of their official languages. So it's a really huge group of people with whom you would have the opportunity to share your writing. And that's something that we really like to capitalize on. We are a royal society, and our patron is Her Majesty the Queen, who is head of the Commonwealth. And our vice patron, with whom we work very closely, is Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cornwall. So we've touched on this a little bit already, but there are many reasons why young people should enter the competition. First and foremost is to have their voice heard on a global platform. But it is also a way for young people to start thinking about citizenship, about what it means to be a good citizen, to think about problems that they have or that there are in their local community and in their international communities, and how they as Commonwealth citizens can address these problems. It's also an opportunity for young people to think about the future that they would like to see and the ways that they could perhaps realize this future. And last but not least, it is very important for generating career opportunities. This critical thinking that that entrants have to do in order to write their piece is something that is going to be very beneficial to them in the long run in their careers. But also, this is something that will be shown on their CV, and it's just a good task to have as practice for their career in later life. So what skills will young people develop? Well, obviously the main one would be written English and storytelling. But as I said before, it is an opportunity to start thinking critically, to start thinking creatively, and let your imagination sort of run wild. We try not to have it's not a prescriptive competition. It is called the Queen's Commonwealth Essay Competition, but in fact, it is a writing competition. And we really do want young people to be experimenting with their writing, to try out different genres of writing. So, that can be poetry, that can be storytelling, that can be letter writing, and they can also merge genres. We are very happy, and we do reward experimentation with language. And even, this will improve your English, but another thing that it will do is to improve your confidence and in expressing your ideas with other people. So let's get to the prizes. First of all, I should say that every young person who enters this competition and who submits an entry that is more than 5 words, let's say, will receive a certificate of participation. And then a number of young people will be rewarded for excellence in writing with gold, silver, and bronze certificates. Then the top 2 winners from each category. So we have a junior category, which is those aged under 14. And we have a senior category for 14 to 18-year-olds. The top 2 winners from those 2 categories win a trip to London, which we call Winners Week, which is a program of cultural and educational activities. And it usually takes place in October or November. So I was lucky enough to join the Royal Commonwealth Society a little bit before Winners Week last year. So I was able to attend Winners Week. And it was a wonderful week. Our winners last year were from Uganda, Kenya, and India. And during that week, we met with high-profile literary figures, we met politicians, we met diplomats. We had lunch at the House of Commons with the Speaker of the House of Commons. We went on a trip down the Thames. We went to Cambridge as well. We saw a West End show. So we had lots of fun activities. And then the week culminates with a very special award ceremony that is usually held at Buckingham Palace, and that is hosted by Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cornwall. Yes, and another thing to mention about this week is that we do meet lots of authors and poets and other high-profile literary figures. So any young person who wins this competition and is really interested in sort of forging a career in writing will get the opportunity to network and to possibly, you know, meet someone who could mentor them in their career in later life. So, as we said, this is an opportunity for young people to have their writing shared on a global platform. The writing will be published in our magazine, Voices. It will also be on our website and on our social media. It may be turned into an ebook and uploaded to World Reader, and it will become part of our archive, which, you know, is accessed by lots of people every day. So, and you know, we're still promoting pieces of writing from 20 years ago on our website and on our social media. So it's something that, you know, will be there in perpetuity. So if we just want to take a look at what winning this competition can do and how it can affect your life for the better, let's just have a look at this video.
Hey, I'm Mayfong, and I was one of the previous winners of the competition. Now, winning a prize really did change my life. I was born in Malaysia, and I was the fifth girl, and my father was a very traditional man who didn't believe in educating women too much. But he changed his mind a little bit after I won the competition, and I was invited to meet the Queen of England, and I brought him along. So, since then, I've won a Pulitzer. I've written powerful stories about women's rights and human rights that are the world. And to this year's winners, all of you, I want to congratulate you. I want to tell you to keep on writing because it really will change your life, and you change the world.
So to get to this year's competition, so there isn't very much time left for entries. The competition will close on the 30th of June. So that's in about 9 days' time, I think. But there is still time for young people to apply. So I'll talk about the theme and the topics now. This year's theme is Our Commonwealth. And what we wanted to do with the theme this year is to mark the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So this year in 2022, Her Majesty the Queen is celebrating 70 years as the head of the Commonwealth. So the theme this year is really looking at inspirational leadership and the positive impact that one can have and one can achieve through commitment to their communities. So if we look at some of the topics now, that will help you to see what we are thinking about. So these are very long, so I won't read them out to you. But for the senior category, which has a maximum word count of 1,500 words, and that's for those aged 14 to 18, we ask each entrant to choose one topic. So the first one is to write a speech that you would deliver to other Commonwealth heads of government at the meeting in Rwanda, which is taking place now. And, you know, thinking about a problem or a priority for collective action and thinking about how to convince other leaders to work on this problem with you. The second topic is committed to the Commonwealth, which is very open, and we encourage entrants to take that wherever they might like to. The third topic is to reflect on an inspirational leader from the 20th century. And then the fourth topic is to think about leaders and heroes in our everyday lives and in our communities. You know, what do they look like and why do they do what they do? Why do they serve their communities? And then for the junior category, which is for those under 14, and with a maximum word count of 750 words. We make it's a little bit lighter, but the idea is the same, to think about inspirational people. So we have imagine you are a grandparent in 2022, tell your grandchild a bedtime story about an inspirational person. We have what are the best ways for young people to serve the Commonwealth. So we really want young people to think about their duties to their community and how they can impact positively on their communities. We have our Commonwealth community, which again is quite broad, and we're really looking for creativity with that one. And then my favorite is write a job description for a superhero needed to solve a problem in your community. So those are the topics for this year. If we want to look at last year's and the entry numbers for Nigeria for the last 10 years, we see like a very nice trajectory. Entry numbers have been increasing quite consistently, from quite a measly 54 in 2010 to 841 last year in 2021. Nigeria's position in our sort of leaderboard has stayed quite stable, although in 2020 Nigeria was actually in 8th place. So Nigeria has gone down 1 place to 9th place, but we're still seeing a very good increase in numbers. And I think with with the momentum that we get from today, and hopefully with all of your participation, these numbers will look even better next this year in this year's competition. So that's it for my presentation. I encourage you all to look at our website, where there is more information about how to submit entries and what we are looking for. And I'm happy to take any questions that you might have now. So please feel free to ask me anything. Okay, so should I reply to these questions in the chat? So for the junior category, 750 words is the maximum word count. Students for each category should pick 1 topic from the 4 that are listed there. For the junior category, it is ages under 14. And for the senior category, it's 14 to 18.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Festus Ojajuni. I'm representing Baker School International Abuja. Please, I may want to know how the students are intending to make their registration. Are they going to register individually, or are we to register them as a school? That's one.
Yeah. So that's a really good question. It can happen either way, actually. So students can enter individually, but you can also do a group submission, and it works in a very similar way. Thank you.
Please, some people's hands are up. Please, ICT, please help to call on people that have questions. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, Mr. Shola.
Yes.
Mrs. Titilayo.
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay.
Hello.
Good
Okay.
afternoon.
Go ahead, sir.
This is Mr. Shola from Prison Academy, Lagos. Just like the last person asked the question, I want to know if you are submitting individually or as a group. Like in the school, we have like 5 students or 7 submitting entries. Are we submitting them together at once or individually?
So you can do it either way. You can do a group submission if you want to make sure that all of your students do enter.
Okay.
So I think sometimes teachers might do that if they have, if this has been part of the curriculum or if they've done a project in school. So they want to make sure, that their students' entries do make it into the competition.
Okay.
But in the same way, they can enter individually if you would prefer.
All right. Thank you very much. It's clearer now.
So I've put the link in the chat, which has more information about the competition. It has terms and conditions. It has the topics. So if you follow this link, you should find all your information that you need there. And as many students as possible. There's no limit to how many students can enter, but each student can only enter once. So we don't accept any new multiple entries from one student, but we would like to see as many entries as possible. The essay should be typed, and it can be typed directly into our platform, or it can be uploaded as a Word document or as a PDF. So the ages for the junior category are under 14. Exactly. So we would accept only a few words over the word count. So 755 would be okay. 800 is too many. And we really do want young people to stick to the word count because that is something that is going to help them in their academic careers and in their professional careers as well. There's no specific font type or size. Essays can be submitted now, and you have until the 30th of June, the end of the day on the 30th of June. So that's next Thursday. So when entries are submitted, each entrant will be asked some information about themselves. They'll be asked their name, they'll be asked their nationality, where they live, And then once they have submitted all their details and they've submitted their entry, they will be given a unique ID number. And then they can use that number to ask us any questions about their entry. So the prize is a trip to London. That's the top prize for the top 2 winners in each category. And everyone else who is eligible will receive a certificate of participation or a bronze, silver, or gold award for excellence in writing. So let me share the topics with you.
ICT, please address some of the questions that are being addressed in the chat box. Please, everyone, the stakeholders here present, this is an opportunity for you to ask clarifying questions so that there's clarity moving forward, especially since the deadline is fast approaching.
Yes, so there's a question here, are illustrations accepted? They are. Last year's junior runner-up had some wonderful illustrations in her entry, and I think that's part of the reason why she did so well, because they were really funny illustrations, actually. So we do encourage that.
Okay, ma'am, we have another question from Mr. Tenebe. He's asking, are the students paying for entry into the competition?
No, so it's a completely free competition, and if they see anywhere that they should pay, then that is false information. It is free to enter, and should they win, should they be one of the top 2 winners, their prize would be an all expenses paid trip to London. So there is no money changing hands.
So I hope that is clear that it is free. We have another participant who is asking, for those that will submit in groups, how are you going to differentiate the one that belongs to A and the other that belongs to B? Should we include their details in their write-up?
So no, when you want to do a group submission, first of all, you will click on a link that will take you to where you need to submit. And the first question will be, are you submitting as an individual or as a group? And if you click that you are submitting as a group, you will be asked some details about yourself and your school or your organization. And you will be asked how many entries you are submitting. And then you will submit each one individually and input the name of that child that you are submitting for.
Okay, so I hope that is well noted. We have 3 hands raised. Mr. Shaolu Toluwanimi, Adedamola Adedayo, and somebody with Techno LC8. Please, could you go ahead with your contribution? Mr. Shaolu. Hello. Okay, if he's not ready, Mr. Adedayo, Adedamola. Okay. And lastly, Techno LCA. Okay, Mr. Shaolu.
I think my question from the
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Please, someone's hand is up.
Could Mr. John Wesley? Mr. John Wesley.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, so I like to find out.
Yeah.
We understand that we have students across our very district, and so we do know that sometimes when we have to join or participate in essay competitions, there are ways selections are done. Maybe it is written and submitted to the district, and then students are selected. We eventually do a final submission.
Okay.
So my question is, can students just go ahead to enlist their submission across their various schools without having to submit to the district?
Yeah, and I think that's something that we encourage actually, because this competition is really supposed to be open to everyone, and we want everyone to get writing and to get thinking, regardless of how good their English is, how proficient they are. So it's really not a competition for just the best students. It's a competition for everyone. So it would be, we just want to see as many students enter as possible. And I think the idea is that even those who aren't as good in English will have some positive feedback to their work, which will encourage them to write more. So it definitely doesn't need to go through the school and through the district and choose the best ones. We would really love to receive as many entries as possible.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think in addition to that, I just wanted to mention that I know for some students, the access to technology may be a barrier in terms of, submitting. So I think, the school should look at the demographic of students, right?
Yeah.
And definitely like has been mentioned, that no entry should be denied, right? So however way you think as a school, you can sort of open the floodgates of the opportunity for your students, then that is fine. So if that means that, you have an internal deadline of like maybe a day or two before, or you're giving students the opportunity to submit to you so you can submit on their behalf, or they're given the opportunity to do it on their own, that is fine. At the end of the day, it's important to know that this is open to everyone, and that the choosing will be done at the level after submission. So we don't expect, or they don't expect schools to sort of, cut down or to choose a main one, because it's not school-based, right? So the school is an enabler to ensure that you're supporting students along this journey, and they're able to submit their best work toward the running of this competition.
Yes, exactly. And to just on your point about accessibility, Ms. Ayeni, you know, the link, the submission should be possible also from a phone. So you shouldn't need access to a computer for it. So it's quite a simple submission process. And we hope that as many people can do it as possible.
Okay, that sounds great. So what I'm hearing based on what you said, that it doesn't have to be like a Word or PDF. They can literally just submit, they can just submit it in whatever form.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Mr. John Wesley, you have your hand raised up, and you have the permission to let us have. Okay, or you can just drop a comment in the chat box and we'll read it as soon as we see it.
There are some questions in the Q&A already. I'm not sure if we've answered them about the word count and about the under 14 category.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
Ms. Spencer?
anyone under 14 can participate in the junior category. Yeah.
Okay, and it says, does the essay have to be the exact word count given, or can it exceed the given number of words?
So it shouldn't exceed the given number of words by too many words. We will accept 755 if the word count, if the maximum words is 750, but 800 would be too many. So the students' entrance should really try to keep within the word count.
Okay.
Mrs. Oyebola, please go ahead with your question. Okay, we have a hand raised. We have Ms. Oyebola's hand raised, and I've allowed her.
Yep.
Okay, please let us have your
one
comment
last
in the
question.
chat.
Yes, so we know that it is the 30th, so will we say that 11:59 p.m. is the absolute cutoff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it okay? Right before midnight. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Ask as many questions, please. We have quite a number of people on the line. Please ask as many questions so that you can support your students to submit their best work. Also, ICT, I don't know if we can point the attendees here to some of the key information that we've received, the materials, like this PowerPoint presentation that has been, okay. So is all of this information on the website?
Yes.
Like the sample essays and the PowerPoint
presentation? All on the
presentation?
website. Yeah.
Okay, okay, great, fantastic. So everyone has that website here. Okay. Okay. So let's just round up in the next 5 minutes with the questions so that we can move on.
So the website has been posted in the chat box. That is www.royalcwsociety.org. Yes. So most of the questions we've attended to, ma'am. There's just somebody in the Q&A that wants a run through of the screen. Maybe he didn't get
Of the
He didn't get
topics?
to yes, of the screen grab. That was what he said. Could you please go through your screen all over again for us to have a last screen grab or what to do? But
Yeah.
we are told that we can find this material on the website.
Yes, it is on the website, but I'll just share it again for you now. So these are the senior topics. Oh, sorry. And this is a good opportunity in case anyone has any questions about the particular topics to ask me.
Mr. Isiola, I'm not sure I can get the pronunciation right, but you have your hand raised. Maybe you have a question or two for Ms. Spencer. Please go ahead with your question, sir. Isiola Oton. Okay, okay. Mr. Adebola Adebayo and Ms. Oyebola. We also have Ms. Mabel Babashola. Mrs. Mabel, please go ahead, ma, with your question.
Thank you very much. Yes,
Okay.
I would like to know the minimum age because we've just said ages for under 14 and for the juniors. What actually is the minimum age for both categories?
So the minimum age for the senior category is 14, but for the junior category, there is no minimum age. Yeah, I mean, most of our entries are sort of age 9 and over, but there is no cutoff on that side.
Thank you.
Thank you. And these are the junior categories.
Mrs. Chikodi Undim, apologies if I don't get the name correctly. Please, could you go ahead with your question? If Mrs. Chikodi is online, please, you have the permission to let us have your questions or contributions, ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You made mention of the deadline being 30th of June.
Yeah.
Is the 30th included between both the submission and the registration, or is it only for the registration?
It's both. It's submission as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. We have another person online that wants to ask a question. Miss Remilekun Esther Otayomi. Please, if you have your question, this is an opportunity.
Okay, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Please, is the competition open to both the public and the private school students?
Yes, absolutely. So we encourage all young people aged 18 and under to enter. So in fact, they could be out of school for whatever reason, but we really want to see a diverse group of entrants. So yes, public school, private school, any other type of school, everyone's welcome.
They're out of school too.
I mean, yes, they're definitely welcome to enter. It's just easier for us to sort of spread the word through schools. But if a child who is out of school would like to enter, they are definitely welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is for all children under the age of 18, including someone mentioned out-of-school children or even children that have even gone on to university. As long as they are 18 as at the 30th of this month, they can submit.
So somebody would like to know if they are to submit using the same website. This question is from Mrs. Damilola Belu. She wants to know if they are to submit using the same website.
So if they go onto our website, Royal CW Society, .org, and they go to the essay competition. So I've shared that link before. Enter the essay competition, enter the QCC. There are some boxes on there.
I'm sorry, Miss Sophie, I'm sorry to interject. If it's possible, I think it would be useful if you could actually share your screen and go to the website so that they see visually. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay. So this is royalcwsociety.org/essay competition. If you just go to our main website, though, you can find the essay competition through literacy. So that's the same thing. And this is the link I've been giving, enter the QCC 2022. So this is where to go if you want to submit, but you can also find more information about the competition here. So this is about the competition. If you click on this link, here you will meet the 2021 winners, and you get the opportunity to read some of the winning posts from 2021 and before. Here are some resources for teachers that could be helpful for the competition. So there are PowerPoints and teaching materials in here. We've got frequently asked questions, which should answer any of your questions. And then we've got terms and conditions. So to enter the competition, you click on here. So enter the QCC 2022. This is our launch video that you can watch with the Duchess of Cornwall. The theme is here, the topics are here. You can see the flyer as well. This is our flyer, which has some more information, and the topics are also here. And then you can enter the competition by clicking on these buttons. So this will take you to the submission platform. And the first question that you will be asked is whether you're an individual or a group. And if you're a group, you firstly have to consent to parental consent. You give your name, then it will take you through, and at some point you will be asked for the names of your individual students. So I hope that's helpful.
Yes, that is helpful. I'm not sure if I missed it. So is this to say that every child must have someone that submits on their behalf?
No. So that's just for the that is just for the group entrance. So if I share my screen again and go back. So if it's group, it will take me through and it will ask me some questions about myself as a submitter, so as a teacher or someone like that. And then it will ask questions about the different children that I am submitting for, but I can also choose individual, and it will ask me some slightly different questions, my name, etc., which I won't fill in now. But it is very easy to use, and you can also access it on a phone or an iPad or anything like that. The competition is open to anyone, not just female students, but we have seen in recent years that we do have more female students applying than male students. And just so you can see the topics again. Oh.
Mr. Adedamola Adedayo, do you have a question for Ms. Spencer?
Thank you very much, Ms. Spencer.
Thank you.
I want to know if for students when making citations or making references to external materials or sources, are the children expected to include those links where they have picked those external information from? That's in their write-offs.
So if they are citing an external source, then they should either include the links or footnotes, and that would be included within the word count.
Okay.
But a lot of essays don't cite sources, especially if it's creative writing, if it's fiction, if it's a story or a poem. So this is an essay competition, but we, as much as we encourage children to write essays, we also want them to think about all the different genres of writing. So it doesn't have to look like a formal sort of academic essay.
Okay, in essence, you can make it as playful and
exactly. It's supposed to be playful, definitely. This first one, the speech to Commonwealth heads of government. We say write a speech, but you could write a story. You could, you should. We really want participants to have as much fun as possible with this.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Spencer, is it possible for you, I don't know if you have previously addressed this, but can you walk the audience through what next steps? So after they eventually do submit, what is the expectation? Will everyone be contacted? What are the timelines? And then I'm not sure if everyone is aware, but there's also a lesson plan template that teachers or parents or anyone can use to support students to be successful with this process. Given the time, we may not be able to use that, but I think it's useful if it's possible for you to do so. It is a resource for you to use. But I think it's good for people to know what the expectation is after having submitted.
Yes, definitely. That's a great question. So the deadline obviously is the 30th of June. During July and August, that is when we are judging the competition. So we have a group, a very large group actually, of volunteer judges from throughout the Commonwealth. And if, all sorts of people volunteer as judges with us. So that's also an opportunity that you can have if you would like. And what we do is we make sure that a judge from one country is not reading the entries from that particular country. So if you are a Nigerian judge, we would make sure that you are judging entries from, India or Pakistan or somewhere like that, as long as it's not Nigeria. So throughout July and August, we are doing the first round of judging, where judges will look at the entries and we'll judge them on different criteria. They'll judge them on their writing, they'll judge them on creativity, they'll judge them on the structure. And then that's when the entries will be split into participation, bronze, silver, and gold. And then the top sort of 150 entries will receive a gold finalist award. And those gold finalist awards will be taken to a final panel of judges, which will be held in September. And on this final panel, we have high-profile literary figures from around the Commonwealth, representing each different region of the Commonwealth. And they get together in a room and on Zoom, and they discuss the best entries together, and then they will pick the top 2 entries from each category. So that will probably happen in September. Results will be released in October. And then we are hoping to hold our Winners Week, so this trip to London for the top 2 winners from each category in November this year in London, and there will be an award ceremony then as well. So that's really the last thing that will happen for the Queen's Commonwealth Essay Competition this year, 2022. And I just want to say as well, once you submit an entry, you will receive an email which will have the details of your submission, and you will get a unique ID as well. And then you can use that unique ID to communicate with us in case you have any questions about your entry. So that's the basic timeline.
Thank you so much for that. So I think we should be rounding up at this point. My general counsel, I'm not sure if there are any sort of closing remarks as we close this out. I want to thank the Royal Commonwealth Society for their support along this process. And of course, I want to thank all of our education stakeholders for making time to be here with us virtually today. I do hope that you've gained much more clarification concerning this, and we are hoping that we get a substantive number of entries. I think that's about it. I'm trying to make sure that there are not any final questions that need to be addressed.
I'm just putting the email address for any questions
Okay, great.
in the chat. So
Great.
it's competitions@royalcwsociety.org.
Okay, competition with an S or without?
With an S.
Okay, plural.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, ICT, is there any other thing we need to consider? I think we've taken that up. I'm looking.
Okay, ma, so there's a person just wanted to have somebody wanted to have the contact person's phone number for further inquiry. However, the email address has been dropped in the chat box. I don't know if there is also a contact phone number that goes with the email address.
We prefer to use the email address just to manage all of our communication in one place.
Okay. Okay, so thank you again. General Counsel, any final words? Okay, I don't know, maybe there's an issue with the tech. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for their time today. I'm hoping we can get as many submissions as possible. And I hope that this meeting did a lot to support you all in ensuring that you support students, to get in those entries and to do them well so that they are competitive. So thank you about that. Ms. Sophie, thank you. I would like to thank members of Lagos State Government for taking time out being here today. We have representatives of Governor's Office, Ministry of Education, Office of Education Quality Assurance, and of course, representative of the Royal Commonwealth Society. Thank you so much. So I guess at this juncture, I think it's safe to say that we can leave. I'm not sure if there are any final words from you, Ms.
Yeah.
Sophie.
Hi. Just a couple of observations. I know you had mentioned the lesson plans and then the previous entries from 2021. Is there a plan to share these documents with the stakeholders first to guide the students? Because I think it could. I mean,
It's on
we've
the
got 9
website.
days.
Yes, it's on the website. You showed they're all on the
Yeah,
website.
but maybe you can put it onto the Zoom platform now so they can, easily pick it up, maybe save on their devices right now. I'm not sure if they would have the opportunity to go on there later to seek to download, but it could be something that could be shared here. I'm not sure
Yes,
if that.
it's here actually. The website is already, it's where the Q&A is. I believe ICT, isn't that right? It's mentioned twice. The website, if you go under the Q&A, the direct website is there for everyone to access.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And it's been pasted in the chat box too, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, that was what I was referring to, for it to be posted in the chat box. I'm not even sure if you can upload documents into the Zoom chat box, but I thought maybe it was possible.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. They can only click on the link and then download from the link. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, that was just my own observation, but very well done, everyone. I think it was a good session.
Thank you, ma'am. Any final word? Okay, ICT, please close out.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, thank you, everyone, and do have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.